Hey folks, Steve here from NS Sports Fans. I know with fantasy football just right around the corner, we have had a lot of folks that have already started their drafting and getting the information together for their draft that's coming up. Whether it's auction, PPR, standard, doesn't really matter. We just really want all of the information that we possibly can to have the most productive draft day. Well, in our looking around at different sites and doing our research and due diligence, found fantasypros.com, and more importantly, their draft wizard. Now, they have several different ways that you can go about this. First, they have a free mock draft simulator, obviously right here at the top, where you can put in some of the league rules and scoring from your own league, as well as the number of teams that are in there, and kind of do just a really quick mock draft, and you can kind of do those unlimitedly. I purchased actually the MVP version of the Draft Wizard just to be able to integrate some of the teams that I have. As you can see here, I have the Outcast League, the Hendo League, BGFL. Outcast is on CBS, and the Hendo and the BGFL are through NFL.com. And I've actually set up these leagues with my actual draft orders or potential draft orders or draft number and integrated with those and synced those with the other two sites. So I'm actually getting a really good representation of my league rules and things of that nature. So let's just get started here, and I'll show you some of the things that they have. In addition to these type of leagues, I've got a half-point PPR, and a standard, and it's just a snake type draft in all the ones. They actually do have an auction simulator, auction calculator, that if you prefer to do the auction type leagues, certainly is a great way to get your information on there as well. But nonetheless, I've added all these leagues here. For instance, in the Outcast League, it's a 12-team league. It is a keeper league. You get to keep two from the previous year, and you do have to give up whatever draft position that you had them in the year before. I did get pick 9 in our lottery for the draft, and I have a couple of players that I'm looking to keep, and I can draft from each one of those. Basically all I did, I'm looking at this one, for instance, Outcast 9 DH. That's keeping Denver's defense and Alan Hearns. And to create these other ones here, all I did was hit duplicate on this and then just change my keepers. Nonetheless, though, let's look at if I want to keep Eric Decker and Alan Hearns. So we click right on here. Comes right up to Outcast 9. These are actually all the other teams that are in my 12-team league. Here's my scoring. It's a custom scoring, snake draft, custom order, those kind of stuff. And then I do have a situation here where I can actually go back, change my keepers. And these are not necessarily the keepers that these other teams are. They're just something that I speculated on to go ahead and get my draft information kind of started here. But nonetheless, though, I'm going to save these keepers. And then I just simply go down and say Start Mock Draft. And it gives you an option at this point in time if you wanted to make some changes to some of those kinds of things. You're more than welcome to. It also shows you what you're drafting against. Not only their own expert rankings, but you can do composite ADP, Fantasy Football Calculator ADP, some of the other sites, pre-draft rankings, that kind of stuff. You can actually create your own cheat sheet for particular leagues and that kind of stuff. And then, of course, you'd have the option to view and change your keepers again. But we'll go ahead and get started here. It takes just a second for it to load up. All right, so now we're back. And as you can see, this is the Draft Wizard interface here. It shows that I've kept Eric Decker and Hearns. This is my actual roster that's going to be over here, and that keeps track as we go. Right here is actually the picks in order. Shows you who all's been taken to this point. Pretty standard. But here's what I love. It actually gives you suggested players and a percentage of the experts that agree for that particular position. It gives you their kind of composite ADP here. And it gives you what the best that they've been picked over all of the drafts. Another way you can actually look at this as you get into the later rounds is right here. I can go to player at each position, quarterbacks only, overall rankings, that kind of stuff. And then you can also look at other things like strength of schedule, value-based drafting, player notes, projections, different things like that as well too. But I'm going to leave it kind of here on the standard thing. Because of the scarcity, I'm just going to go ahead and pick Jamaal Charles because he seems to be the best one that's up there. And he pops over there, and then of course it leads me back to my snake at 2-4 on the back end. Now, as you're going through, down here closer to the bottom as you scroll down, it has a running total of the overall ECR for PPR right here, and who's been taken is actually marked out. Then it breaks it down into quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end, kicker, defense. Now, obviously, a lot of information here, a lot of players. So you can actually click right here for high drafted, and then it goes to next best. Obviously, all your quarterbacks in order, running backs, wide receivers, that kind of stuff. So, not to give too much of my particular strategy coming up away, however, I'm going to go ahead and pick Matt Forte right here and just show you that it goes right through, and then it pops up to my next one here. And of course, I think I would take Brandon Cooks there. But anyway, I'm going to go on up here just to show you kind of the end. I'm just going to hit auto draft for the rest of the mock draft here, just to kind of see what the computer would think. It gives you this draft board that fills out for you across the board, all the way down to 18th. And it populates all of those things for you. And then it gives you an immediate grade right on there. Mine was a B-. So I can actually go through here and see the team that I actually was mostly picked for me. And then I can go over here to projected standings, and it would actually show me what my projected points are. For instance, it takes just a moment to load up. It shows that overall I would be looking at the third place team in number of total points. It does show my starters at being 10th, I believe. Let's look here. Yeah, 10th out of 12. And then it looks as though my bench would be my redeeming factor there for all my bye weeks. But nonetheless, it did give me a grade here of a B- or an 83 out of 100. You can actually look at things like your final draft board. You can look at team rosters as far as what they feel like everybody else will start. And then these things become useful, obviously, in the week-to-week. But as far as ease of use, ease of integration, information, ideas, all that other kind of stuff, we definitely give the Draft Wizard from FantasyPros.com a 9.5 out of 10. Really simple, really easy to use. Check them out at FantasyPros.com, and please don't forget to check us out on Twitter at NS Sports Fans. We'll see you next time.